Hey guys, so I just finished the Dragon Rig and I'm really excited about the result, and I'm going to take you through and show you some of the broad and finer features and some of the things that are really specific to this character as a whole. So we're going to start at the head and work our way down. Beginning, we kind of just have some basic functions here for his jaw, but we can get into the more expressive parts of his rig. So his eyebrows are actually icons that you can manipulate in scene, give him some different expression. We're going to go with something a bit more aggressive here. And you can also play with his eye blinks. He does have full eye blinks, so let you see that deformation there. So yeah, he's also got a few things on his head itself. I really wanted to play up the fact that he's a dragon, so a lot of his head rig and facial rig are really specific to that dragon. To the dragon part of him, I should say. So if you keep an eye out on his horns, it's a little subtle effect, but I got them to go sharper, and it really helped to bring out his more aggressive look. I also gave a little shout out to How to Train Your Dragon with the teeth being able to retract into his face. Aside from that, you have the whole spines on the side of his face, and they're pretty easy to control. You can just imagine, like, if he's flying, you can like pull these back, giving the illusion that he's moving a bit faster. If you've seen Jurassic Park, there was a dinosaur that had something like these, so I played with that and I gave it the ability to spread, and it also has this little function that allows it to automatically undulate, and that is something that you can turn on and off, and then you can come in and tweak it further by just moving these however you feel. Continuing on, he has this breath of fire attribute, and it's going to originate at his chest and just work the length of his neck. And once you get it to one end, you can just pull it backwards, and that can double as a swallow. And that's probably the most cartoonish thing that I have in the rig. I really wanted the rig to have a more realistic feel. Even though it's a dragon, I just wanted it to be less cartoony, I should say. That control also works when you pose the neck, so it will still follow his neck and do what it's supposed to do. Furthermore, like I said, I did want this to be real, a bit more realistic, but I didn't limit how much stretch you could put on the neck. That's just because I like to let my animators over animate. I don't want to constrict them. But you have these controls here that not only like help you to pose the neck, but they have this magnitude option over here, and if you give it a negative value, it will grow the longer you pull the neck, and that'll help it to not get into a ridiculously thin traditional stretch. So if you were to give this a magnitude of 1, the further you pull it, you'll get that traditional squash and stretch. You can see it acting up right there. But those are good if you want to tweak the shape, if you really push the neck, and those are located throughout the length. So that's the head and neck for you. Moving down, I'm going to show you guys the feet. You'll be able to move the toes and the elbow via this icon, but for tweaks, the pull vector is actually non-existent. You'll be able to manipulate the elbow through this twist control, and then you'll be able to once again manipulate the toes through the rotation of the actual icon. So the back legs work very similar, except they actually do have a pull vector icon, which will just move the knee, and then you can compensate for the toes with the icon, and they have the ability to twist the whole leg globally to get it into whatever position you'd like to start with. Furthermore, this particular setup has a really fun function I didn't know was out there until I did this dragon rig. It's called pitch, but some people call it flex, and it basically lets you roll the whole leg, or flex the leg, if you will. So that's both of his front and back leg setups. We're going to get a bit into, let's do the tail before we do the back. So the tail, right now what you're seeing is an advanced IK setup. This is, once again, pretty stretchy. You can do whatever you'd like with this. You can choose where the bin goes. you can rotate this, and then this you can use to compensate, so you can really push the curve one way or make it look more natural. You can get these really large sweeping motions. I'm sure you can see that S-curve going on there. So that's just another way that you can really push the rig. But yeah, you have this, and the middle control and the end control work in tandem together on that setup. But the tail also has a regular FK. You can turn on icons and tweak that way. However, I gave you the global control so you can just bend the tail, sway it, and you can even twist it. And these sets of attributes are really consistent throughout most of my rigs. I like to give you the ability to like globally position it, and then if you'd like to come through and tweak. But regardless of how you choose to use those, you do want to favor one over the other. As animators know, you want to be very consistent. I just like to give you guys those kind of options. His back is very important, because if you take away the wings and his like this kind of tail, and if you take away all of the fluff on him, the dragon is just a quad, and quads have some very specific requirements. So you'll notice that it is extremely easy for you to get the quad in a sitting position. This is very reminiscent of like how a dog would sit. You can also choose when to have these subsequent icons follow. So if you turn this off, you'll notice that his back is pretty much staying in place, and then you can independently manipulate this. You can also turn off the chest icon, and now when you move the back, it'll just move by itself and do what it wants to do. So you can really arch it or have it lower. I'm going to bring back those icons, the follow functions on those, just because when they're on, you can lean him forward and really get, let's actually bring his head down. This also has a very similar function. So you can really get that low, like the low stance of the dog. And then once again, you can tweak these, and you can even move the pole vector to really push him into the place you want him. Those just work really well together. And then also you have the center of gravity control, which negates any of the following functions on this. So if these are set to not follow, and you like the position but you want to lift them up, you can just grab this and then pop them off the ground a little bit. But that's pretty much his back and his neck. They're actually really similar systems, and because of that, the way that they connect into each other, when you move them, you'll notice that you'll get some rotation down the neck too, and that really helps to keep the model or the animation from looking static in any area. So that's just something that you can play with, and you can also turn that feature on and off. You have a lot of control with the dragon. So getting into his wings, he has IK, FK wings. So that's the FK. You'll be able to see that in motion. But really want to show you guys like how they're moving. What you're seeing right now is the model in skin mode. He actually has dynamic wings. I managed to get a switch. I managed to do skinned wings and in-cloth wings all in the same geo, and I'll actually show you guys that in just a second. I just want to show you how the deformations work for the wings. They're actually pushed really far, but effectively you can key this guy in skin mode, and then once you're done keying him and animating him, you can just switch this to dynamic, and then all of the dynamics will play based off of the skinned animation. So right now you'll see his wings get a pretty large spread actually. They maintain their shape pretty well. You also have the curl function. So let's just get a better angle on that so you can really get a sense of what his wings are capable of. And this is just in skin mode. Once, like I said, once you put dynamics on this, you'll get that flow and cloth feel to them. So furthermore, you have the ability, let's just show you over here. You can manipulate these via the icons, obviously, but if you come over here, you can like curl the hook. If my middle mouse would, oh, wrong icon. So you can like curl the hook, and then you can, a lot of the spread functions that you're seeing are actually happening up here. The spines are rigid, so you're just getting a lot more of like I said, a realistic look to the dragon wings. So real quick, I am going to show you a little play blast I did. This is showing off some of the in cloth. He just does a quick like flap and stuff. You'll notice that the in cloth is holding on to the spines really well. That being said, the in cloth is separate geo from his spines and from his back. So these are all in constraints that have been adjusted to make sure that they hug his geometry. And on top of that, the in cloth has been adjusted with its stretch resistance, compression resistance, all of that, so you get a more accurate tissue feel to his wings. But yeah, ultimately those are the wings. And another thing that you should be aware of is that it doesn't matter, like, let me actually really push these wings right here, because eventually everything's gonna break. I really want to, okay, this is perfect. So right here you'll notice that the wings, they're kind of like closing up on each other. They're just polygon planes actually, so what you're seeing is like the reverse normal side. When you turn on the in-cloth sim, if it's animated in this position, the in-cloth will completely get rid of this, and that's just because the way it's set up is when you switch it from skin to dynamic, it completely omits the bind altogether. It's not being influenced by the joints at all. It's just following the main function, or sorry, the main pose of the arm, and then the in cloth is going to calculate based on that, so you won't have any of these things after the fact. But let's clear that up a little bit. He holds up pretty well. That's pretty much the dragon for you. He's got a lot of versatility. You can do a lot with him. He's got a bunch of control. I really hope you guys like what you see here, and it's got your imagination going, especially if you're an animator. I've seen people put him in like dog positions and like really like aggressive positions where he's like heads up and he's like looking down at people like angrily. He's a real fun character to move and pose, and he's got an awesome silhouette. So that's the in cloth you're seeing, but he's really fun. And anyways, this is the dragon. That's all of his features. I hope you guys like it, and thanks for watching.